Since the dawn of the atomic age in 1945, military forces worldwide have logged unidentified objects hovering over sensitive nuclear infrastructure. The simultaneous emergence of nuclear weapons tests and mysterious aerial phenomena established the modern UAP puzzle. Despite advanced air defense systems, armed forces remained entirely powerless against the hovering craft. The first systematic reports of unidentified flying objects originated directly at the birthplaces of American nuclear weapons development. Scientists and security personnel observed silent luminous craft above secret research facilities. The occurrences prompted the establishment of the highest military security classifications. From 1944 onward, security personnel at the Manhattan Project recorded unidentified aerial craft within restricted airspace. Counterintelligence officers immediately classified all observation logs under maximum secrecy orders. Feared foreign espionage quickly proved to be far more mysterious in nature. During the founding year of 1945, glowing disks hovered repeatedly over the main laboratories of Los Alamos. Prominent physicists, including J. Robert Oppenheimer, were briefed on incomplete radar contacts. Investigation logs from that era still contain unresolved sighting records today. The plutonium production facilities at Hanford experienced repeated overflights by unidentified aerial objects. U.S. fighter jets scrambled on interception missions but were never able to close distance on the craft. Security reports from 1945 describe abrupt directional changes at extreme velocities. Over the isolated enrichment city of Oak Ridge, military radar tracked multiple high-speed, unknown targets. The flight paths indicated intentional reconnaissance over the uranium separation plants. Hypotheses regarding Soviet spy planes could not be sustained due to a total lack of physical evidence. Between 1948 and 1951, intense green luminous globes systematically appeared over U.S. nuclear storage vaults. Astronomer Lincoln LaPaz led a scientific investigation commissioned directly by the U.S. Air Force. Despite extensive searches, 0 meteorite fragments were ever recovered along calculated trajectories. The green fireballs flew preferentially over atomic bomb storage bunkers at Kirtland Air Force Base. Following overflights, scientists measured temporary increases in atmospheric radiation. The Office of Special Investigations subsequently convened classified expert panels. Flight trajectories of the fireballs ran perfectly horizontal, contradicting natural meteorite entry behavior. Furthermore, the objects moved in complete silence without producing sonic booms at high speed. Contemporary missile technology possessed no capabilities matching these flight characteristics. The U.S. Air Force investigated thousands of UFO reports over 2 decades within Project Blue Book. Particular focus was placed on numerous encounters reported by military personnel at atomic bases. While public statements offered reassuring explanations, sensitive cases remained strictly classified. After 1948, the Department of Defense established strict flight exclusion zones above all nuclear complexes. Air Defense Forces received authorization to intercept unauthorized craft within restricted zones immediately. Despite numerous scrambled sorties, interceptors never succeeded in shooting down an object. The Office of Special Investigations compiled detailed witness testimony from radar operators and fighter pilots. The files confirmed coordinated flight maneuvers in close proximity to sensitive weapons depots. These historical dossiers form the baseline of modern government inquiries. Hundreds of declassified records are published via the government portal war.gov/UFO under presidential directive. Documents include historical Department of Energy incident logs from nuclear storage vaults. The records confirm encounters denied by official press offices for decades. During the 1960s and 1970s, incursions reached a critical dimension through the direct disabling of intercontinental ballistic missiles. While objects hovered over launch silos, nuclear weapons dropped out of launch readiness simultaneously. Military leadership faced an unprecedented national security dilemma. In March 1967, Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana experienced the most dramatic nuclear missile outage in history. 10 launch-ready Minuteman I missiles shut down completely within a matter of seconds. Concurrently, security guards reported a glowing red object hovering directly over the site gate. Captain Robert Salas commanded the underground launch control capsule of Echo Flight on that fateful night. He witnessed multiple system failure alarms flash simultaneously across his control console. Salas later testified under oath before members of the U.S. Congress regarding the event. The shutdown of the 10 nuclear missiles occurred despite completely independent power supplies for each silo. Subsequent engineering investigations revealed zero physical defects or electrical hardware failures. Air Force internal reports classified the incident cause as an unresolved phenomenon. In October 1968, a massive, unidentified craft entered the airspace of Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota. Control links to nuclear warheads failed simultaneously across several launch silos. Launch control personnel temporarily lost operational command of the stationed nuclear weapons. The flight crew of a B-52 bomber acquired the object simultaneously on airborne radar and visually. The radar return indicated a craft comparable in size to a commercial airliner. It accompanied the U.S. bomber for several minutes without generating any engine noise. Inside underground control capsules, data links connected to nuclear warheads experienced total blackout. Fail-safe systems automatically initiated emergency safety lockouts. The missiles could only be brought back online after the object departed the area. In late December 1980, an unknown craft landed in Rendlesham Forest between RAF Bentwaters and Woodbridge. The site housed the largest tactical nuclear weapons repository in Western Europe. The event remains the best documented military UAP incident in British history. Deputy Base Commander Charles Halt recorded the unfolding event live on microcassette tape. He observed the craft beam targeted light raised down into the nuclear munitions storage bunkers. Soldiers measured significantly elevated radiation readings at the landing pod impressions. The precision light beams struck the exact bunkers containing stored nuclear gravity bombs. During the light contact, external security alarms and radio frequencies experienced total system outage. The official memorandum by the Lieutenant Colonel was submitted to the UK Ministry of Defence. Unexplained overflights continue to occur at sensitive U.S. nuclear facilities in modern times. The Pantex plant in Texas serves as the primary facility for assembling and dismantling American nuclear weapons. Declassified documents confirm recent security breaches in restricted airspace. In 2015, an unidentified aerial object hovered silently above high-security warhead assembly bunkers. Conventional flight monitoring systems failed to detect any transponder-supported tracking signals. The incident triggered immediate security alerts and deployment of specialized response units. UAP overflights are not restricted to the United States, but occur globally at strategic nuclear facilities. Records from Russia, France, and international naval forces demonstrate identical operational patterns. This disproves hypotheses asserting the phenomenon is a classified U.S. technology. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union experienced equivalent incursions at strategic missile installations. The KGB maintained classified investigation files under the code name Subject 7. The incidents placed Soviet high command on maximum military alert. In October 1982, a giant disk hovered over the Soviet ICBM base at Bilokrovitsia in Ukraine. Suddenly, the automatic launch countdown of nuclear missiles activated without human intervention. The phenomenon spontaneously aborted after 15 seconds, averting nuclear war. The Soviet missile test site at Kapustin Yar was a focal point of intense UAP activity. Sensors registered directed infrared pulse signals aimed at missile silo covers. Scrambled MiG interceptors received orders to fire, but failed to achieve weapon locks. Western European nations frequently record overflights over civilian and military nuclear facilities. Numerous eyewitness reports from security guards confirm the precision of the flight maneuvers. European defense ministries cooperate closely on tracking and analyzing these incidents. Starting in 2014, simultaneous drone overflights were reported over more than 13 French nuclear power plants. The flight range and performance far exceeded all commercially available drone technology. Authorities were unable to locate ground operators, pilots, or launch sites. High-speed aerial objects were sighted above Swedish nuclear power plants at Forsmark and Oskarshamn. Concurrently, the Swedish Navy registered unidentified underwater objects in coastal archipelagos. The events led to a temporary elevation of national defense alert levels. Nuclear-powered aircraft carriers and submarines of the U.S. Navy represent primary targets for UAP encounters. Advanced shipboard sensors document the craft operating seamlessly across air and sea domains. The Navy subsequently updated official pilot reporting protocols. During the famous 2004 Tic Tac incident, UAPs accompanied the nuclear carrier strike group USS Nimitz. The object moved instantaneously between 80,000 feet altitude and the ocean surface. It hovered precisely at the confidential combat rendezvous point of Navy pilots. Pilots of the USS Theodore Roosevelt reported near-daily UAP sightings off the U.S. East Coast in 2014 and 2015. The flying objects exhibited no visible wings, engines, or thermal exhaust plumes. The recordings led to a fundamental restructuring of UAP investigations inside the Pentagon. Technological interaction with nuclear weapons raises complex physical and strategic questions. Military planners have attempted for decades to understand physical disabling mechanisms and build protective shields. Infrastructure vulnerability poses severe geopolitical risks. Analysis of system outages points to novel modes of physical interaction. High heat or mechanical structural damage does not occur during these incidents. Instead, electronic systems are influenced directly at the electromagnetic field level. Military engineers suspect the generation of directed electromagnetic pulses without nuclear detonation. This pulse selectively disables specific control boards without causing permanent hardware damage. Conventional Faraday shielding proves ineffective against this phenomenon. After 1970, the U.S. Air Force retrofitted Minuteman bunkers with enhanced electromagnetic shielding. These hardening measures were intended to minimize outage probabilities during UAP overflights. Despite the upgrades, uncertainties remain during subsequent field tests. The incursions expose major vulnerabilities in airspace surveillance near strategic defense assets. Furthermore, extreme secrecy classifications hinder effective information sharing between government agencies. The Department of Energy plays a unique role in withholding historical files. Traditional NORAD early warning radars were programmed to filter out objects moving extremely slow or fast. Adjusting radar filter settings suddenly revealed thousands of previously ignored UAP tracks. Processing this vast data volume overwhelmed existing military analysis capacity. The U.S. Department of Energy retains the strictest UAP dossiers under special rules of the Atomic Energy Act. This legal framework largely exempts records from congressional oversight in the U.S. House and Senate. Transparency initiatives encounter their strongest resistance here. The appearance of unidentified objects over nuclear facilities creates severe risks of miscalculation. During the Cold War, UAP false alarms nearly triggered a nuclear first strike. Military strategists advocate for clear international emergency protocols. When UAP systems activate or deactivate missiles, human command systems may interpret the event as a hostile attack. During crisis periods, this phenomenon drastically elevates the risk of unintended nuclear war. Special hotlines were established between Washington and Moscow as a result. 8 decades of UAP encounters over nuclear sites culminate in a fundamental paradigm shift. The phenomenon acts as a technological mirror highlighting human defenselessness. Current legislative acts mark the start of a new era in scientific investigation. Global incident reports present a consistent pattern of deliberate interest in human nuclear capabilities. Neither natural phenomena nor adversary drones account for the sum of observed flight properties. The evidence forces an adaptation of our scientific worldview. Researchers interpret nuclear missile shutdowns as a symbolic demonstration of technological superiority. The interventions may represent an implicit warning regarding the destructive potential of atomic weapons. Précise fil d'interaction consiste li à voie d'aide causant permanent arme. The flight characteristics of UAPs demonstrate physics far exceeding the current standard model. Humanity's most destructive weapons prove entirely ineffective against these advanced systems. This requires a fundamental reevaluation of military deterrence doctrines. The U.S. Congress has increasingly forced the systematic disclosure of hidden government archives. New statutory provisions protect whistleblowers and mandate regular intelligence reporting. Official releases are permanently reshaping public and academic discourse. The National Defense Authorization Act mandates regular DoD briefings to congressional oversight committees. Legal whistleblower protections remove fear of prosecution from military witnesses. Stigmatization surrounding pilot and technician sighting reports is steadily dismantled. UAP investigation is evolving from anecdotal accounts into a rigorous data-driven science. New sensor arrays continuously monitor airspaces above strategic nuclear zones. Artificial intelligence models assist in automated multispectral pattern recognition. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office installs gremlin sensor packages at major nuclear facilities. These multispectral units record optical, thermal, radar, and RF telemetry in real time. AI algorithms evaluate data streams to scientifically resolve the nuclear UAP anomaly.